Now, here's today's host, Dr. Tony Ebel.
Hey, what's going on, docs? Good morning, good afternoon, hello. If you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may find it, I am glad you are here. I'm very glad to be a part of it. My name is Dr. Tony Ebel, and I am a pediatric and family chiropractor. And real quick, I really want to thank ChiroSecure and the team for bringing me on to do this show. We're going to be here every month with you guys, bringing you all sorts of action and passion, but most importantly, truthfully, strategy and steps that you can take to really explode your pediatric and family practice. If you don't know anything about me, that's what I do on the daily as a practicing chiropractor outside of Chicago. And then again, I love this opportunity to be in front of you all as chiropractors, because one of my favorite hashtags in the world that I live my life by is the loudest voice. Specifically, God has blessed me to be a loud voice for pediatric and family chiropractic. And I can't come to your town and do your workshops and share this message with those people and your patients, but you can. So if I can share what I know with you, so you can share it with those moms and those families and those kids and get them their health and their well-being back, well, we've done our job. So here's what I'm going to cover for today. We are going to cover the 5-step blueprint to just an absolutely thriving, rocking pediatric and family practice. In my world, in my lexicon, we would refer to that as an epic pediatric practice. Choosing that word not to be trendy, but to use that word to be specific, because it truly is an epic impact that you make in your community. And it truly is just an epic impact in your life when you have all this fun and all of this joy and all of this reward that is seeing kids and families. Last quick thing since the first show before we get right into the stuff, because if you know anything about me, if you heard me talk before, I am a teacher. I got all sorts of passion and energy and that, but I love to just dial it in and say, here's how you do it. Here's how you help more kids. But I got to mention how cool it is to be doing the show with ChiroSecure, and that on the other weeks that you don't have me, that you have Dr. Monica Berger. That is an amazing chiropractor who does amazing work for kids and families, and was a big part of the spark to my journey into this pediatric realm when I took her class over a decade ago. So let's dive right into this blueprint, okay? I really want you, if you're a note taker, take these notes. And if you really truly are joining us because you want to serve kids and families, I actually hope we're catching a lot of students with this, because these are notes that should be laminated and saved forever forward, because these are the steps, especially today. I'm going to really dig into what I consider to be the modern, the now and future pediatric and family chiropractic practice. Learning from all the things that have happened and worked well in the past couple of decades, but really saying this is what works now. Step number one is number one for a reason, because you have to have it as the foundation and the roots of everything else if you're going to be successful with the subsequent steps, and that is to develop your certainty. Now, I want to give you a quick extra dose and really narrow your focus on where and what your certainty should be developed on. And that is specifically behind the science of what it is that we do, specifically what subluxation does to a child, where it begins, when it begins, what the neurology of it, what the impact of it, what the physiology of it is. Now, really quick on this, the truth of the matter is, if you're here, you've got a passion, you've got a heart for seeing kids, you should let that loose, okay? You bet passion is going to draw people to you. You bet they need to know how much you care. But when it comes to growing and building a pediatric and family practice, you have to develop trust like nobody's business within these parents to get them to bring their children into you. They need to know not only that you care, they need to know that you know what you're doing from A to Z, and that you have it down pat. You can't fake your way into this science. You can't use somebody else's passion and understanding. You cannot use scripts to build a pediatric and family practice. You need to be authentic, and that truly means that you need to have spent the time to authentically on your own study and know the science and philosophy of what we do, and be able to then communicate it and articulate it. And that's the second part, is we have to learn how to effectively communicate the message of pediatric and family chiropractic care in a way to your community and to your patients that is so high value that they don't just want it, they demand it, they desire it, they can't go through life without it, so that you become not just the last choice or the last resort for the health of their family, but the first choice for their family forever forward. And 2A and 2B are here as well. 2A is, again, back to that S word, the science. You have to be able to communicate with a science and technology lean to your message. Again, it can't be too theoretical. It can't be too philosophical. It can't be just all passion and sizzle. There has to be stake to your message, which is why number one was there first. You need to know it. You need to be able to communicate effectively the science of the subluxation and neurology and chiropractic and what we do. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we are practicing in 2018. So if you are not using technology, write that word down, circle it, underline it. If you are not deploying technology to build your practice, you are truly missing out, and you're not going to reach the impact and the goals that you have. And really brief, by the way, these steps, these 5 steps, this is the set list, if you will, for our next 5 shows that'll be with you on the first Thursday of every single month here through this channel. And I will take each of these 5. We're gonna put them on the 30,000 foot view. This is the blueprint. And then we're gonna break them down individually on each subsequent show. But technology is there for you to use to reach moms and families in your community. If you are not deploying technology such as Facebook, such as YouTube, such exactly as you're watching and learning here, your patients and parents in your community can learn about the value of pediatric and family care through technology. And then doubling down on 2A, you have to deploy technology in your office. You have to be able to show them the stress and subluxation on their child's nervous system. So for me personally, being an Insight subluxation station, CLA, just disciple, you have to deploy technology inside your practice. And 2B, to be able to communicate effectively in the way I'm talking about, and you've heard this 1,000 million times, it's cliche as can be, but the greatest communicators are the best listeners. See, what moms want from you to trust their babies and their family, to trust you with the health of their family, is they need to know that you have authority. That would be the certainty and the science and the technology. You need to build that brand and that brand authority up. But then you need to really deploy an equal dose, if not more, of empathy. And if you don't stop, be quiet, and actually listen to them, and I mean, day one, yes, if they're there in front of you, don't just OPQRST and regurgitate a script to them. You need to actually listen to what matters to them and what's really going on with their child. And then I want you to peel that back and know that almost, I guess not globally, but in your community, you need to listen to what is really going on in your community. We all know that our kids are sicker than ever before, and families are being pulled apart by stress and illness and everything more than ever before. But if you're really listening, you will know that oftentimes, especially with this conversation, through the greatest challenges lie the greatest opportunities. And that community of parents, specifically this generation, they want drug-free, cause-based healthcare more than anything in the world. You notice I almost said chiropractic automatically after I said those 2 things. Cause-based, drug-free, because that's us, the best and the biggest in the world at those 2 things. So that's crucial. Step 3 to the blueprint to developing your thriving pediatric and family practice is you must absolutely stay in your lane. I think the people who are hosting us here as a malpractice and insurance provider will applaud this one loudly from behind the scenes here. But you need to stay in your lane. Do chiropractic, and just choosing that minimizing word here intentionally, just do chiropractic. It doesn't mean that there aren't so many other wonderful things that children and families need to get healthy. But it does mean that there's only one thing in the world that they can get from you that they can't get anywhere else. And that is to find subluxation and get rid of subluxation in that child's life and in that family's life. And I'm telling you, when you figure this all out, when you put this blueprint in play, and then we'll break it down and you stay with us and you get to the places where you get to the place that we are. And again, this isn't about me. This is about we being able to help so many more kids and families. You will be so busy just doing that one thing that you can't even have time to do the rest. But when you truly stay in your lane, you do not distract and you do not dilute, I call them the 2 Ds, your message and your purpose and your mission within that community. So when people go to share and tell every other mom and every other dad and every other family, that's the place you need to be. They only have one thing they need to tell them that you do. And that is the one thing they want and desire more than ever in today's world. And step number 4, and this is crucial. This seems like a little one. This seems like, do I really need that one? It seems unnecessary. Oh my goodness. Every single day you're going to need step number 4, and that is to join a community. And I'm going to be metaphorical here and really mean it. You need to join a tribe. You need a squad. You need a crew. You need a family of like-minded, purpose-driven, focused, dialed in, doing the same thing you are doing every day chiropractors. So in this lexicon, in this language and conversation today, pediatric and family chiropractors, you need to join a community and you need to stay in a community. Because especially if you're on your own as a solo practitioner, you're on an island. And that stinks because you're going to have a tough case. You're going to have a tough conversation. You're going to have a tough business question. You're going to have a tough marketing question. And when you have a community to sounding board that, to crowdsource and share and support and help, oh man, it's so valuable. And the 5th one is going to seem automatic, and then we'll wrap up this first ever show, but it's everything. It's actually what medicine does to absolutely, that's why they are absolutely so much of a bigger reach and a bigger place than we are. Start with kids. See, people always ask me, I'll kind of tell this last one and finish it up as a storyteller. When I go and travel and I'm teaching to other chiropractors and doing this in seminars and CEs and online and everything else, the question they always ask me, and I'm going to tell it exactly how they ask it because you got to see through this to get through to where you want to be to have a family practice. They go, what? You see all these kids, you're 60% pediatrics. What do you tell your patients to get them to bring their kids in? And that right there is how far away we all collectively from building family practices. See, by saying, what do you tell your patients? They automatically assume that all of my patients are adults, that I start the same as everybody else with this back pain, neck pain, musculoskeletal, accept your insurance message, and then think that I'm going to tell them the big idea and the bigger story about why their babies and their family needs care. Nope. Completely flip it on its head if you want to be successful. 98.9% of the marketing and the outreach we do in our community is pediatric kid focused. That's our conversation all day, every day. 90% of our new patients coming from external means are kids. And when you earn the trust, the authority, the likability of starting with kids, it's the easiest thing ever to get that family under care. So you got to work to get your certainty. You got to work to be able to communicate effectively. You got to know how to talk about the science and the technology in a simple manner. You need to be able to stay in your lane and be okay with that. You need to join a tribe. And when you have all those things, you start with kids and the family comes with it because every child has a family. So make sure you join us again in a couple of weeks. It is November 15th. I just say it with a smile because Dr. Monica Berger, passion, energy, experience, expertise. Join Dr. Monica's show on November 15th. I will be back with you the first Thursday of every month. So I will see you then in the month of November. Thanks, guys.
Today's pediatric show, Look to the Children, was brought to you by ChiroSecure and the award-winning book series, I Am a Lovable Me. Make sure you join us next week, right here at the same time. See you next week.